වෙන්න බැරිත් නෑ.
So do you have a pen drive?
No, I don't have. I used Darshi's pen drive last week and
You have a presentation?
yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Wait. අද කට්ටිය absent. Absent. එහෙම මේ මම ඉස්සෙල්ලාට මෙතන ගිහිල්ලාද? ආ. ළඟ ගිහලා දන්නේ නැහැ නේ මම. තරක් නෙමෙයි මොකක් හරි එක ආණ්ඩුවක මේ අයවැය පෙරදුනා. මේ එක മന്ത്രി කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා නේ බලනකොට මේ ඒ ඡන්දය අරුනේ. එයාගේ වාහනේ ගුවන් ගිහිල්ලා. ඒ කොහමද ආණ්ඩුව පෙරළුණා ඒක. අයවැය පෙරදුන ආණ්ඩුව පෙරළුණානේ. ඉතින් වර්ගයක් කුලපත්තක മന്ത്രി කෙනෙක්. That was මම සිරිමාවෝගේ ආණ්ඩුව 1970s වල. දැන් නම් ආයෙ පරිදි නැහැ මොකද 159ක් ඉන්නවනේ. ඒක මේ කෙනෙකුලන් ගියා කියලා අවුලක් නැහැ. ළඟදී assignment එකක් තියෙනවා. මම කියන්නම් topics deadline ඒවා ටික. ඒකෙන් 20% add වෙනවා final exam marks වලට. Vitamins. Thank you.
Excuse us, we have this technical issue.
Sure. No problem.
It is going on for that.
No, they thought that trip switch is something really big thing.
Marine was electrical one.
Well, previously on lipids, we talked about three types of lipids, but they are monosaccharides and carbohydrates. Triglycerides, phospholipids, and sterols. Well, speaking of fatty acids, we know we are using a glycerol molecule and three fatty acid molecules to make a fat. In a fatty acid, there are two compulsory groups. One end and the opposite end. There are two compulsory groups. Do you remember what they are? Yes, one is CH3 group, and the other end is carboxylic acid group. Fatty acids we categorize into saturated and unsaturated depending on what factor. Presence of the double bond. If we have double bonds, is it saturated or unsaturated? Unsaturated. If you have double bonds, that is unsaturated. Saturated fatty acids, are they solids or liquids? Solids. Unsaturated ones, they are liquids. Well, what is omega number? The location of the CC double bond from the side where we have the CH3 group. You know, one side is COOH compulsorily, other side is CH3 compulsorily. From the CH3 side, what is the carbon number? Well, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. The double bond location of the double bond from the CH3 side, that is the omega number. The most familiar ones are we have omega 3 and omega 6. Well, fatty acids, unsaturated fatty acids, that is the fatty acids with double bonds, can be converted into saturated form. From the reaction with what? Hydrogen. We call it hydrogenation. Why do we need cholesterol? Cholesterol. මොනවාටද? හෝමෝන්ස් වලට හරි. ටිකක් ඊට වඩා ලේසියෙන් මතක් වෙන එක. මොකද අපි අසයින්මන්ට්ස් එහෙම ලියද්දි ඕනනේ. විටමින් D හදන්න ඕනේ. cholesterol, like we are talking about LDL and HDL. ඔය දෙකෙන් හොඳ එක මොකද්ද? LDL. HDL වැඩි වෙන්න බලපාන reasons මොනවාද? ඒ කියන්නේ bad එක. හා? unhealthy lifestyle. හරි. මොන වගේද? Smoking and junk food. What are the symptoms when we have a high cholesterol level? High blood pressure. නෑ pressure cholesterol කියන වර්ග දෙකක් නේ. No symptoms. Yeah, symptoms මොකුත් නැහැ. Then how do you recognize whether we have high cholesterol or not? Blood test. කොච්චර කාලයකට සැරයක් අපි cholesterol check කරන්න ඕනේද කියන එක depend වෙන factors මොනවාද? Age. තව family history. එතකොට risk factors. මොනවද risk factors කියන්නේ? අපි කන විදිය අවුල් නම් අන risk factor. What are the health issues of fats? Sorry? Yes. And most common one, obesity. Right. Those are the ones that we talk and the lipids. Today's one is very much easier than that. That is about vitamins. Well, vitamins. කිව්වහම family term එකක් නේ. Carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, metabolism, glycolysis, ඒවා කියනවට වඩා right when it comes to vitamins, it is a familiar word, familiar term. Well, right. So, vitamins we know. Vitamin A, B, E, vitamin C. I think most common one is vitamin C, eh? Right? Likewise, vitamins. Well, vitamins. Remember, vitamins are like we have two things. One is vitamins, and the other one is minerals. I have separated those two We'll talk about those two separately. First, about vitamins, then about minerals. When it comes to vitamins, these are organic compounds, still organic compounds. Well, we started with carbohydrates, organic, then proteins, organic, lipids, that is also organic, carbon containing ones. Then we are coming to vitamins, that is also organic, right? Right. These are essential organic compounds. That's important. When it comes to food, there are two things that as you already know, essential ones and unessential ones. This is essential. That means our body can't synthesize that at all. We have to definitely take from outside, right? Essential. They cannot be synthesized. Remember, vitamins, we don't need in bulks. We need them in small amounts, right? Vitamins, we need them in small amounts. And if it is something that we require in high amounts, the chance for us to go in deficiencies also is less. අපි ගොඩක් කනවනේ. කනවා. ඒක කාබෝහයිඩ්‍රේට් ඩෙෆිෂියන්සි අහලා නැහැ මෙහෙම එකක්. නේද? මොනවා හරි කනවනේ. අඩුම තරමේ කන්න එකක් හරි කනවනේ. Carbohydrates. හැබැයි vitamins, when it comes to vitamins, we need them in small amounts. For example, and it must be taken from outside. For example, two. ඔය දෙක නිසා deficiency වලට අපිට යන්න තියෙන එකට හුඟක් වැඩි මේක තමයි vitamins. මම හිතන්නේ අපි ජීවිතේ කියන මොකක්ම හරි විටමින් එකක් අරන් නැති කවුරුත් නැහැ. නේද? deficiencies අපේ ජීවිත කාලේ මොනවාටම හරි අරන් තියෙනවා. විටමින් C කොහොමද ගන්නවා? නේද? ඊට අමතරව කොණ්ඩේ ගන්න හරි විටමින් D අරන් ඇති. right? එතකොට vitamins deficiency යන්න තියෙන ඉඩකට හුඟක්ම වැඩි එකක් තමයි vitamins කියන්නේ. Because due to two reasons. One is it must be taken from outside. Number two, we need that in small amounts. එතකොට අපි කන බොන ඒ වගේ කියන්නේ ඒක small amounts වලින්. Since we are not good at selecting food according to our lifestyle, right? There's a high chance for us to go in deficiencies in vitamins, right? ඉක්මනින් කරලා බලන්න අද ෆුඩේ මොනවද කෑවේ, තවල් මොනවද කෑවේ, ඊයේ මොකක්ද මොනවද කෑවේ. ඔය දුර ඇනලයිස් කරගන්නකොට තේරෙයි, right? මේවා deficiency යන්න පුළුවන් නේද කියලා. Right? Anyway, why do we need vitamins? These important essential compounds, which is required in small amounts, we need, that is to maintain the growth, maintenance, reproduction, lactation, right? We need vitamins, right? Vitamin adunam, kondiya, right? Symptoms same, other cholesterol වගේ වට symptoms නැති වුණාට මේවට කතා on the spot symptoms same. කතා notice කරන්න පුළුවන්. Later, right? Then we go for supplements, right? Remember, when it comes to vitamins, there are two. We categorize vitamins so that we can study easily. We categorize vitamins into two, as water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins. That's why we talked about fats before vitamins in our previous lecture. Right, so then we know about fats, and there are stuff which dissolve in fat, there are stuff which dissolve in water. You know what is this soluble? About this solubility? Water is one thing, and the organic solvents is another thing. That's an example. Now let's say, can we dissolve a piece of rigid foam in water? So rigid foam is not soluble in water, but we can dissolve a piece of rigid foam in petrol. Third real. Paints and some paints what they can do. Some what they can let you know. Right? So solvent matters. Likewise, solubility depends on the polarity. Some compounds can be dissolved in water. not all vitamins. Some compounds cannot be dissolved in water. The compounds which cannot be dissolved in water definitely can be dissolved in organic solvents, such as fats. Right? Likewise, vitamins also same story. There are water soluble vitamins. එතකොට අපිට ඒවා orally ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා. නේද? බොන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා. right? අපි vitamin C බොනවනේ. නේද? ඊට පස්සේ vitamin B අර cytochrome B අර සිරප් එකේ එහෙම මතක තියාගන්න ඉදිරියට වුණාම එහෙම බොන එක කියන්නේ ලබන කිසිස් වෙලාවට හැද පිටපත කියලා කියන්නේ මේක මේ කතා කරන්නේ in general හරිද? health issue wise නිදිමත වෙන එක vitamin B cytochrome B සිරප් එක ප්‍රතිපාද බොටල් එක මතක ඇති. right. ඒවා water soluble vitamins. Then fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, E, අපි D ගැන එදත් කතා කරා related to cholesterol line නේද? right. Vitamin E අර ඔයාලා බොන්නේ ගානේ. right. ඊට පස්සේ vitamin K. right. ගන්නනේ. there you go. right. එතකොට now there is something we need the vitamins in small amounts. Right? We can't take those vitamins in excess amounts. But water soluble vitamins, it is all right to take even if it is in excess. Like vitamin C, other than සමහර වෙලාවට වේරත් ගන්නවා, දවල්ටත් ගන්නවා, රැයටත් ගන්නවා, කොරෝනා කාලේට. මුත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් excess වල ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. vitamin C වැඩි විදිහට මුත් තුන්නේ right? Because there is water soluble. Water soluble can even if it is in excess. පස්සේ පුළුවන් මේක යුරින් එක පාස් කරලා එවන ඒක water soluble ඉන්න අපි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ෂුවර්. vitamin B ත් එහෙම. right? ඒ නිසා තමයි අපි vitamin B, vitamin C වගේ prescription නතු ගන්න. අනිත් ඒවා දෙන්න තමයි ගන්න ඒකේ වතාවක්. මේවා prescription නැතුව ගත්තට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැතුව වෙන්නේ. මොකද ඒක අපි වැඩිපුර දීලා කියලා හානියක් නැහැ. but fat soluble vitamins එහෙම බෑ. ඒවා එහෙම අපි බොඩි එකේ excess ඒවා යවන්න mechanism එකක් නැහැ. Fat soluble vitamins. So then those ones, these are just few examples only. Whatever the fat soluble vitamin that will be accumulated in the body. Vitamin වැඩි වීම කියලා ඒක ඇතුලේ හැදෙන ප්‍රශ්න ටික ඇති. right? So those are the things. When we take supplements, we have to be mindful about what sort of a thing this is going to be. හරිද? vitamins නිකන් ගන්න එපා. බලන්න එක මොකක්ද? water soluble, fat soluble. water soluble නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ ගන්න. ඒක අවශ්‍ය ටික පොඩි එකකින් ගනි ඉතුරු ටික ආයවත්. හරිද? හැබැයි fat soluble එහෙම ගන්න එපා. right? Remember when it comes to the supplements, there is something called therapeutic dose. Therapeutic dose. Then nothing. Therapeutic dose. Therapeutic dose. Then name. Then TV advertisements करते पास से. कैल्शियम मल्टी एंडिंग पर संगतकार लाइफ देंगे aniline hari for calcium. So let's say you have a calcium deficiency, right? Again, example that is that they could never agree and you don't know. So if we have some deficiency, something which is available in the market can't fulfill that. As an example, we'll say some vitamin. Okay. Yogurt and greens, vitamins, right? So something which is available in the market it is not sufficient enough to give the therapeutic dose. So what is this therapeutic dose? Therapeutic dose means, let's say I have a vitamin A deficiency. As an example, let's say, so something which is marketed in the TV for vitamin A is not in a position to give me that dose which I require if I'm in a deficiency. එතකොට කියනවනේ එකක්වත් අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැද්ද? හම්බ වෙනවා just to maintain the existing consumption. Existing daily requirement ඒ වගේ එකක් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි whenever we are in some deficiency, what is available in the market with an advertisement can't solve that problem. Then we have to go for a therapeutic dose. Therapeutic dose is the dose which compensates the short that we have. Correct. So that definitely we have to take as a supplement. එතකොට මාකට් එකේ ඔය කියන යෝගට් විදියට, කිරි විදියට විකුණන්න බෑ කිසිම අයිටම් එකක්, ෆුඩ් අයිටම් එකක් මේ therapeutic dose එක විකුණන්න බෑ. මොකද ඒක too much for the general public. Therapeutic dose is something for someone who has a deficiency. Right? Then this actually in the market, yogurt or whatever, I remember the advertisement, right? So they market very highly about these vitamins that they have a list of vitamins in the advertisement. But therapeutic dose is not coming from any of those products. If we have a deficiency, but if we don't have any deficiency to maintain our general day-to-day requirement, okay, that is it. All right, right. Right. Vitamin A, that is fat soluble. Since it is fat soluble only, we don't remember stuff like that much about vitamin, like vitamin C. We are very highly knowledgeable of vitamin C. But it's a water soluble one, so we are not reluctant to take that. But these stuff, vitamin A, right, it is one of the examples for fat soluble, right? So this is important for us to maintain the skin and nerve tissues, and also against infections, about eyesight, bone formation. Those are the functions. Basically, animals, right? Animals definitely we have to have a source of vitamin A, right? And also when it comes to pregnant ladies, also there's a high requirement of vitamin A, right? Because in that case, there are so many things to be maintained. Right. Okay, so basically this is a fat soluble vitamin. Right. Then when we are lack of vitamin A, these are the symptoms. Retarded growth. All right. You might have heard about this eye issue, xerophthalmia, night blindness, reproductive disorders. These are the deficiency signs. ඒ වගේ මොන හරි symptoms තියෙනවා නම් අන්න ලියාගන්න ආයෙ මේ කියනකොට හවුස් බ්ලවුස් right. Sources. whole milk, keratin, animal body oil. This whole milk that is actually that milk fat. Okay, when it comes to milk, the fat part is removed. Low fat, non-fat, more categories. So this is about that, like untouched one, right? It's full fat content. Right. Vitamin E. For what do we need vitamin E? කොණ්ඩේ නේ නෑ ඒකක් විතරයි. කොණ්ඩේ ගන්න නෙමෙයි, like we need for normal reproduction vitamin E is required. That's the main function of vitamin E. කොණ්ඩේ ගන්න නෙමෙයි. Right. So these are the symptoms. When we don't have enough vitamin E in our diet, right? For growth. This crazy chick, this is actually not for humans, that's for chickens. Right. The symptoms are not only for humans, like we have for all the animals, because like vitamins are required by animals now. So for the other animals also, like so symptoms are there, right? Those are the deficiency signs when we like lack of the vitamin. So these are symptoms when we need. Okay. Where do we take vitamin? These are the sources. So vitamin E is available in these ones. These are just few examples only. Right. So basically, those are the main ones. Right. Well, when it comes to vitamin E, that is not a water soluble one. No. That is a fat soluble. Then when it dissolved in fat, sometimes vitamin E is going to be destroyed also, depending on the situation. Well, if we have spoiled fat, I think vitamin E is going to react with that and it is going to be denatured. Right? So then this leads to a situation called white muscle disease. Why muscles? Because the fat is not available in the blood, right? That is going to be available along with muscles and stuff, right? So then a white muscle disease is going to be there. And also, vitamin E is not only vitamin E, so for the other vitamins also, just by taking in, that is not enough. There are certain cases. We have to take certain like supportive materials also to increase efficiency. As an example, vitamin E, like if we have selenium, of course, vitamin selenium is just a metal, that is a mineral, right? And then utilization of vitamin E is going to be efficient in the presence of the mineral selenium. That's why I say that vitamins, minerals, they go together, right? Uh, Now when we take, do you remember that when you take iron, we take vitamin C also, right? Iron, do you remember that? When we take iron as supplement, we take vitamin C also. Why? Iron absorption is promoted by vitamin C, right? Iron absorption is promoted by vitamin C. So supporting materials also there. So vitamin E, that is about, so selenium involves in. Right. Now we'll come to vitamin D. Last week also we talked about vitamin D related to cholesterol, right? Vitamin D also is a fat soluble vitamin. It is not soluble in water. It's a fat soluble vitamin. Well, when it comes to bone health, calcium and phosphorus, those are the two main things which is related to bone health, right? Then what is happening is one of the main functions of vitamin D that regulates calcium and phosphorus uh, utilization. That is the job of vitamin D. Then when we are short of vitamin D, what happens is that bone health is going to be affected severely. That problem is there. Then most of the cases, that when we have some bone problem, we feel like we get the idea right. We are lack of calcium because we know in general like calcium is related to bone health. Remember, not only that, calcium and phosphorus metabolism is going to be supported by vitamin D. Vitamin D. There must be a lack of vitamin D in that case. So by taking calcium supplement to our knowledge is not sufficient because calcium, metabolism of calcium is supported by vitamin D. Then even if we take enough calcium, it is not going to be properly used up because we don't have enough vitamin D. Right. So that is a problem. I wonder whether you have heard about that health issue that is coming like after 40 wage, right? Joint pain, right? Severe joint pain. Some people complain, right? Their joints are paining. They can't walk properly. Can walk, but still they complain like joints are paining, right? Joint pain. And that is because of the bone health is very less, right? It is not about calcium at all. Usually, then they used to take to, according to their knowledge, they think that, okay, all right, this is calcium. Doctors also prescribe calcium, calcium or something. Right, so people also know something about vitamins, no, right? They know about antibiotics also, but vitamins they definitely don't know. So to their knowledge, they take stuff, right? But remember, it is not just about calcium; it is about vitamin D, right? So then that is related to vitamin D. So then that has to be that health issue has to be addressed properly along with vitamin D. Maybe that is another reason. So it's not just about vitamin D. Maybe there should be a problem about cholesterol also. Maybe HDL, LDL levels that could be different. Then when we address a health issue related to some deficiency problem, it has to be like seriously affected. So what happens is nowadays, what happens if you walk into the doctor, that fellow tries to uh, you know, solve the problem with 1 or 2 minutes. He has the pen already and keeps writing. Send the fellow. That's what happening. No, practically we know that. That is why, like most of the cases, other than like fever or something. Okay, those things actually, it's antibiotics of those things work. But apart from that, haven't you have the experience that problem is not solved even after going to the doctor? Because some these deficiency problems, you can't attend to some situations like very easily. So that is linked with something else. Now, bone health is about initially from the surface meaning that is about calcium. But again, that is calcium that is related to vitamin D. Again, vitamin D is linked with cholesterol. Again, that is linked with HDL, LDL. Then food habits, a lot of things. So just by giving training to the last point, the problem is not going to solve. Then these things actually, not only the doctor, the patient also have to have some knowledge, right? That's the thing, right? So then be aware of those stuff. Apart from the normal prescription, you need to know something beyond that. Right. These are the health issues. Vitamin, when we have lack of vitamin D, calcium is not properly managed, bones are not properly maintained, so retarded growth. Misshapen bones, rickets, you might have heard of that, right? And lameness means it's like the ability, like inability to walk properly, right? And osteoporosis, you have heard of that. It will be treating osteoporosis and the calcium metabolism also and the mineral, right? So you see, it's all about bone related things, right? All about bone related things. Why bones are going to be unhealthy, less stronger because of lack of calcium. Because since we don't have enough vitamin D to manage calcium metabolism. That's the thing. Right. These are the sources of vitamin D. Right. Analyze කරලා බලන්න ඕවා කනවා මොනවද කියලා. ඒකත් ගන්න. Milk powder omega 3. Because milk powder is further processed. Milk powder actually is, I don't like, chemistry wise, I don't consider that as a healthy drink. Because that's yes, because milk is not actually milk. It's lab made ones. We don't have enough house in the world to produce that much of milk. It's not about fresh milk. Fresh milk is real milk. But fresh milk also, we don't get proper fresh milk that is diluted with water and so on. So they just will say we are buying fresh milk from the roll. In the morning they roll it bikes and sell. Yeah, so that is problem. So that's basic goal, right? කලින්ම plans තියෙනවා මේ පිළිබඳව නේ. Sure. For me, right. Thank you. එතකොට milk powder that is not healthy at all because that is not straight away from the cow. That is a main farm. මොනවා නම් මම chemistry wise recommend කරන්නේ TV පැත්තකින් කියන products promote කරනවා නෙමෙයි. Highly acceptable. පැලවත්තද අපේ වල මිල්ක් පවුඩර් නැහැ නේද? අලිකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒකේ ටැංකර් නමරක මොකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. මිල්ක් පවුඩර් ගත්තට පස්සේ හයිලන්ඩ් වල ඇත්ත මිල්ක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ it's from the cow. ඊට පස්සේ පැලවත්ත that's from the cow. නිව්සීලන්තේ එකක්වත් from the cow. ඒවල අපේ ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි පොඩෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට්ස් උත් අපි කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කල එක සුදු පාටට මෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒකට සමාන කම්පවුන්ඩ් එකක් හදන්න පුළුවන්. බස් සුදු පාට කරගන්නවා කියන්නේ එක ගේමක් නෑ. ඒක බ්ලීච් කරලා සුදු පාට කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඔය තියෙන නිව්සීලන්ත ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් තමයි නෙමෙයි. ඒකින්ද සාම්පේනේ උදේට එහෙම අර කිරි එකක් බොනවා කියලා දුන්න තියෙනවා නම් මෙත්ති කියලා එකක් දුන්න තියෙනවා නම් බේස්ම දෙේ අයිලන්ඩ් වගේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකකට මාස් වෙන්න. නිව්සීලන්ත කියන එක ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් වත් ඒක කිරි නෑ. 100% guarantee. ඒ පැරක් බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් නේ. ඒ ගල්ෂොට්ස් එකක් මේ දේශීය විස්තරات වෙනවා කියනවා. අර කොරෝනා කාලේ
synthetic එක natural එක synthetic එක natural එක
මම මේ
ඒක මනම් ඉන්නේ මොකක්ද වෙනස?
very good question. දැන් හරකන් එංගවකෝ උගෙන් ගන්න කිරිවල තියෙන බයි ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් දැන් ඔක්කොම කිරි විතර නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. හරි. ඊටු ටික අපිට හානියක් තියෙනව නෙමෙයි. මොකවත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අපි සින්තටික් එක ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් ගත්තට පස්සේ අදාළ කම්පවුන්ඩ් එක හැදෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකට අමතරව හැදෙන බයි ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් උත් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඕනම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් ඒක ඕනම ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකකට ගත්තට පස්සේ මේ අපි ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ කතා කරන ටර්ම් එකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් ඇටම් ඉකොනොමි. අහලා තියෙනවද දැන්? අනිත් එක percentage yield. හරි. මම දැන් ඇටම් ඉකොනොමි මතක නැහැ percentage yield මතක ඇති. එතකොට percentage yield එක 100% ගන්න පුළුවන් කිසිම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් නැහැ. 80 විතර ගන්නවා කියන්නේ මාර ලොකු achievement එකක්. 80 නෙත් නෑ. අපි ඊටියාව කියමු. ඉතුරු 20. හරිද? ඒ 20 ඇතුලේ තියෙන ජාතියන ඔක්කොම ටික. ඒවා සම්පූර්ණ අවුල්. ඒතර ඒවා ඒක liver වල accumulate වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ දීර්ඝකාලීනව liver damages එනවා. එහෙම ගත්තට පස්සේ එහෙම තියෙනවා. ඒකනේ දැන් අර දැන් අහලා තියෙනවද දැන් කැන්සර් හොස්පිටල් එකේ බෝඩ්ස් තියෙනවනේ. ඒක හොයාගන්න බෑ කැන්සර් ලෙඩු ඉන්න ඒවා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් මොකක්වත් කරගන්න බැරි ඒවා තියෙනවා. මැගි වාට්ටෝ කියලා කියන්නේ. මේ මැගි කියන්නේ මැගි නූඩල්ස් ඒවා කියන්නේ. ඉතින් එහෙම. ඒතර ඒ බයි ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් ගත්ත මේ පර්සන්ටේජ් yield එකේ ඉතුරු ටිකෙන් පිටින්ම තියෙන ඒවා unhealthy. අන්නේව තමයි තියෙන issues. ඒ නිසායි synthetic product එක අසාර්ථක වෙන්නේ. මොකද product එක හැදෙන ටික තියෙනවා. fine. we okay with that. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකට percentage yield එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ percentage yield එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 60 65 70 range එක කියන්ට ඉන්නවත් හුඟක් අඩුයි. ඉතුරු ටික එන් පිටිම කෙඩි පිටින් by products. ඒවා purify කරලා අයින් කරන්න ක්‍රමයක් නැහැ. තියෙනවා. එකම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් මෙහෙම අයින් කරන්න ගත්තොත් එහෙනම් මේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකේ ගාන මාර විදියට වෙනවා. හිතන්නද වතුර බෝතලයක් අමෙති. හරි. දැන් මේක ප්‍රයිස් එක කීයද? කීයද? දන්නවද? 90. හරි. දන්නවද මේකේ මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් පතරදී වෙන්නේ නැහැ 14 සොලිබල්. හැබැයි දන්නවද මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් ටික ටික දිවෙන් බවල් වෙනවා. මේ අදල ප්ලාස්ටික් නම්බර් එකක් තියෙනවා පොලිමර්. දැන් මේක කීයද? අර ට්‍රයැන්ගල් එක ඇස්ස නම්බර් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ නම්බර් එක මට පේන්නේ හරියට 102. හරි. කෑම ಜಾති දාන්න food and beverages දාන්න මේ නම්බර් එක above 4 වෙන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් ලොගෙත් දාන්න බෑ. ඒක දිහා කතන්දර නෑ. ඒක ෆෝ වලින් උඩ වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? මේ ෆෝන් නෙවෙයි. ඒතර මේක දැන් අපි මේක ගෙනාවේ අද වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේක ෆුඩ් සිටි එකේ ගෙනාව කවුද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතර මේ කාලයක් දෙකකට පස්සේ මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් එක තියෙනවා. හරිද? හරි. එතකොට එහෙම දියෙන්නේ නැති වෙනවා මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් එක හයි ප්ලාස්ටික් නම්බර් එකකට හදාගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ පොලිම නම්බර එක. එහෙම එකක් හදුවොත් බෝතලේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් රුපියල් 100ක් විතර වෙනවා. ප්ලාස්ටික් බෝතල. ඒක වතුර බෝතලේ. අපිට ප්‍රයිස් එක දාගෙන ඉන්නකොට ඈ ඔව් ඒකට ඒකට ලොකු ප්‍රයිස් එකක් සෙට් වෙනවා. මිනිස්සු ගන්න නැහැ. right. ඒකෝට මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් නම්බර් එක මෙහෙම වෙද්දි දැන් එහෙම ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකයි මේ ප්‍රයිස් එක දෙන්න බෝතලේ quality නැති. ඒක ප්ලාස්ටික් නම්බර් එක අඩුයි. මේක ෆෝවලි තබව වෙන්න ඕනේ. අනිත් ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් වල තියෙන්නේ. ඒතරේ හැම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකකටම ගත්තට පස්සේ දැන් මේක වෙන එක්සැම්පල් එකක්. මම ඒක දැන් ඉන්න කිව්වේ. මේ percentage synthetic product එකේ තියෙන අවුල the percentage yield is low, the rest of things are not healthy at all. That is a problem. Anyway, කෑම food flavors රසකාරක ගත්තාම ඒක කතන්දරේ තෝරන්නේ. අර දැන් කියන දැන් ඔය දැන් අපි ගත්තා රස මැගී මෝ එහෙම ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒ වගේ තියෙන මේ ඒ තියෙන ඉන්ග්‍රීඩියන්ට් එක ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ අරකේ තියෙන එනසාල් වල තියෙන එකට equal අරකට equal හරි agree ඒවට equal තමයි. හැබැයි ඒකට ඒකේ percentage එක 100% කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඊටු ටික සෑහෙනවා. ඒකයි අතන තියෙන කතන්දරය. ඒකයි සින්තටික් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකයි මේකයි සමාන නොවේ. කම්පවුන්ඩ් එක විතරක් ගත්තට පස්සේ එන බෝඩ් එකේ ලිව්වට පස්සේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක 100% හරි. හැබැයි බයි ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් ටිකයි unreacted reactants ටිකයි දාන ingredients වල unreacted ටිකයි purify කරගන්න method එකක් අපිට. දැන් medicine වලට ගත්තට පස්සේ එහෙමයි සමහර medicine ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා ඇති මේ prescribe කරනවා මම කලින් කියලා තියෙනවද කියලා මට මතක නැහැ ඒක. මේ ડોක්ටර් brand name එකත් එක්කම prescribe කරනවා. Indian එක ගන්න එපා. මේ German එක මේක ගන්න එක. ඕක ඉතින් ඇත්තද කියලා හොයන්නත් බෑ. මොකද ડોක්ටර්ස්ලාට කියන කමිෂන් එකත් එක්ක ඒගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රොමෝට් කරනවා. හැබැයි මේ ඇත්තට එහෙම දැන් කමිෂන් එක පැත්තකින් තිබ්බට පස්සේ ඇත්තට මේවත් තියෙනවා. සමහර වෙලාවට අපි කයිරල් කම්පවුන්ඩ්ස් කතා කරේ. මම හිතන්නේ මම එතෙන්ද කිව්වද කොහෙද කතාව. අර මන්ද නැහැ කිව්වද කියලා. අර ලයිට් එක පැත්තකට රොටේට් වෙන අනිත් පැත්තට රොටේට් වෙන එක පැත්තට රොටේට් වෙන එක මෙඩිසින් එක අනිත් පැත්තට රොටේට් වෙන එක මෙඩිසින් එක නොවන එක හරිද ඒවට අපි කියනවා ස්ටීරියෝ ස්පෙસિෆික් ඩ්‍රග්ස් කියලා ස්ටීරියෝ ස්පෙસિෆික් ඩ්‍රග්ස් එතකොට අපි රියැක්ෂන් එක කරද්දී both the stereo isomers අර L type and D type අයව අපි කතා කරා හරිද L type and D type both the products are formed එතකොට L එක විතරක් example එකක් විදිහට L එක මෙඩිසින් එක වෙනවා අනිත් එක බිව්වට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So we have to separate the L1 from D1. So ඒවට specific separation techniques තියෙනවා. ඒවට equipments ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ ඒවා ගත්තට පස්සේ normal market එකේ ඒවා අඩුයි. ඒ නිසා තමයි සමහර වෙලාවට doctors prescribe කරන්නේ මේ brand name එකෙන්ම ගන්න කියලා. ඒතර අපිට දැන් අපේ රටේ තියෙන මාකට් එකත් එක්ක ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒක ඇත්තද බොරුද කියලා හිතාගන්න බෑ. මොකද එයාට එන කමිෂන් ටිකත් එක්ක ඒක ඇත්තට යා ලිව්වද එහෙම නැත්නම් පොකට් එක ගැන හිතලා ලිව්වද කියන එක අපිට කන්ෆර්ම් කරගන්න බෑ. නමුත් මේකක් තියෙනවා. So milk powder not a good thing to drink in the morning. That's the bottom line, you know that. හරි. මේ whole milk කියන එක එහෙම එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒක අර සම්පූර්ණ මුළු ඔක්කොම ටික අර කියන එක fat remove කරලා නැති තියෙන. හරි. හරි. එතකොට අරකින් ගන්න එක ඒක මේ ගාල් ඒක මොකද එකක් නෙමෙයි. දේශීය නිෂ්පාදනයක් තියෙනවා. එකම තියෙන්නේ ඒකට මේ ලේබල් එකක් percentage එකක් නැහැ. ඒකේ percentage එක කොහෙන්ද දීලා නැහැ. India. Angular over. Alcohol sample එක තියෙනවනේ. හරි. ඕකේ ඇඟිල්ල ඔබලා ඇඟිල්ල ගිහින් තියෙනවා. හරිද? එතන ඇඟිල්ල රිදෙන්නේ නැති වෙන දැල්ලපත් වෙනවා නේ. අය කියන්නේ මේක හොඳයි. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක තුන් පාරක් පත් වෙනවා. එහෙනම් දැන් ඒක කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මොන තුන් පාරක් පත් වෙනවා. අන්න එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ රිදෙන්නේ නැතුව තුන් පාරක් පත් වෙනවනම් මේ කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් එක හරියි. ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් චෙක් කරන්නේ. ඒකනේ පොලිසිය බලන්නේ. පොඩ කොරෝනා කාලේ බිස්නස් එක ලොකුවටම ගියානේ. ආරාවල් සංස්කෘතිය. Right, okay. Right. So vitamin D is done. Then vitamin K. Right. Why do we need vitamin K? Right. You know about blood coagulation? තුවාල වුණාම කියන්නේ නතර වෙලා නැති ගැනීම. Right. So vitamin K is a vitamin which controls that function. Blood coagulation. Then it prevents the blood leaking out from the body. Well, if we have lack of vitamin, then what is happening? It takes more time for blood to coagulate. That is problem. Then we are losing blood. Then in such cases, vitamin deficiency, it takes time for us to cure the vitamin deficiency by giving treatments. So in such cases, then we have to supply saline to maintain the level of blood, basically the fluid level. So such solution we have to go for when we have excess of bleeding. Well, these are the sources. මේ සෙට් එක නම් සාමාන්‍ය කරේවනේ. Vitamin C. Synthetic compounds. Synthetic compounds are the ones that we take as supplements. Yeah. Pharmacy item. Yeah. Vitamin C. That is scientific name is ascorbic acid. Right. Actually, I think among all the vitamins, right? This is most familiar vitamin class, vitamin C. Right. This runs some joke about calcium metabolism. So remember calcium metabolism. So far we made two vitamins, vitamin D and vitamin C, right? And remember vitamin C that is related to iron absorption also. So all these things are linked, right? Now, when it comes to vitamins and minerals, things are a bit different. Now, proteins, we had specific functions. Carbohydrates, we had straightforward functions. Lipids also. But when it comes to vitamins and minerals, they are linked to so many places. In that chain, if one place breaks, then there will be a lot of health issues. And that's why we have to have a proper knowledge about that to maintain. Right. This is vitamin C deficiency that is related to calcium metabolism. Obviously, joints painful joints, right? And bleeding gums, brittleness of bones, right? Those things are there. Those are the symptoms. So you see, a lot of things are related to bone health. Then maintaining bone health, we have to be really mindful about bone health, teeth, nails, hair, right? So all calcium related ones, and calcium related ones are related to several vitamins, some fat soluble vitamins and some water soluble vitamins as well. Okay. As we already know, these sources are familiar to us. We are getting vitamin C. I think vitamin C, we actually we are not going to be deficient normally, is it so? Because these stuff like we normally get. We normally eat these stuff. ඒ මොකුත් නැත්තම් විටමින් C පෙත්තක් නිකන් කැවෙනවා වගේ එකකුත් තියෙන දැක්කහමනේ එහෙමත් වෙනවා, right? Because it's like tasty. Right. Vitamin B, this is another water soluble one. Vitamin B also like we can take. Right? අර මම කියලා නිදිමත වෙනවට හිම ගන්න ඒෝ ඒක කෙමිස්ට්‍රි ක්ලාස් එකේදී කියලා දෙන්න කියන්නේ maybe in general. හරි? Well, it is about carbohydrate metabolism. I am the නිදිමත වෙන්නේ. ඒ නිදිමත. නේද? Lack of ATP, lack of energy. Right? Now, body requires certain amount of energy. Body requires a certain amount of energy. Why? We have to breathe. We have to, right. Now we are seated, it's a different story. Yeah, now we are listening. That consumes energy. You are breathing, that consumes energy. And the heart is working, right? Lungs are working, and the rest of the reactions are working. So there is a big energy demand. Now you come to the class after eating. Then in addition to all those energy requirements, digestion also requires energy. Now, a demand for ATP, demand for energy is going to be high, right? Then, so that amount of energy is not available at the moment. So then existing energy is used for those particular processes, including digestion. Now what is happening? We don't have enough energy. Then the body goes to body is forcing us to like self-shutdown system. So that's why we feel sleepy. Right? Taken like level digestion process right? ATP madi. Right. So vitamin B, what is it doing? When it comes to ATP, that was the one that we talked on the very first day that we made. In glycolysis Krebs cycle, ATP generation. So carbohydrate is one of our major energy source, ATP source. Then vitamin B. When we don't have enough vitamin B, carbohydrate metabolism is not happening properly. Happening, but not up to the optimum level. Then we don't have enough ATP. Then that the calculation that we did, that 36 ATP is coming, so that is not properly happening. So since we are going to be a lack of ATP, then our energy, since we don't supply the energy that we require, we feel sleep. So vitamin B, it is positively affecting on carbohydrate, basically, metabolism of carbohydrates. That metabolism is happening properly, so ATP is generated. right? So that is how vitamin B is affecting on that. This is actually vitamin B1, that is thiamine. Vitamin B, as you already know, you might have heard already. Vitamin, there's a series, right? B1, B2, so up to B12, right? B, there's a series. That's all about carbohydrate metabolism. It's easy to recognize when we are running out of vitamin B. අර lethargic ගතිය, නිදිමත ගතිය, abnormally හැදෙන නිදිමත ගතිය. ඒ එනකොට අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ diagnose කරගන්න ඕනේ right. ඒකයි situation එක. අර කම්මැලි එනසි මදි නේද? අර exam කාල් පාඩම් කරද්දී එහෙම කලින් නිදිමත වෙනවා. ඒ cases ඔක්කොම ටික ඕකට related. Then we take vitamin B. And that can be taken without a prescription because that is water soluble. Right? Right. Like I already said, these are the deficiencies. අකන්න බැරි එකක් තියෙනවා. හරි? ඒ කියන්නේ loss of appetite. බලන්න එහෙම ඒවා තියෙනවා නම් ඉතින් මෙහා යනවා විද්‍ය අරන් යනවා. අර සිරප් එක. අහපාන පොඩි වෙද්ද නෙවෙයි. සිරප් එක. Loss of appetite. කන්න බැරිද? පුළුවන්. Right. And muscular weakness. Why muscular weakness? Tablet එක කහ පාට එක. ඒක නෙමෙයි. But I am talking about is a syrup. අර ඊගාන විතර බොටල් එකක් තියෙන පොඩි මහලුක එකක් නෙමෙයි, මෙච්චර එකක් නෙමෙයි. මේකෙන් මෙච්චරක් විතර උස මේ size මේ circumference එකක් තියෙන round බෝතලයක්. අන්න ඒක. red color liquid එකක් ඇතුලේ තියෙන cytochrome B කියලා ලියන්නේ. අන්න ඒක. හරි. ඒකෙම නිදිමත ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැත්නම් ඒක ගන්න එපා. ඒක තියෙනවා නම් ගන්න. Well, why muscular weakness is happening? Since enough energy is not supplied to the muscles, actually the job of the muscles is to move, right? Right? When we don't have enough amount of energy, muscles don't move properly, right? Or else it's moving with the greatest difficulty. අමාරුවෙන් දුවන්නේ. නේද? In such case, we feel guilty. අර එහෙම වෙලාවට තමයි එහෙම මතක් කරලා බලන්න එහෙම තිබිච්ච අවස්ථා තියෙනවාද කියලා අර නැගිට ගන්න හින කම්මැලි නැගිට හරි අමාරුයි right අන්න එහෙම නැන්නේ so like that right. These are the sources of vitamin B. බලන්න මේවා කනවද කියලා. ඔල කන්න ඕනේ. Right, another version of vitamin B that is the previous one that we are talking about B1. In B series itself, this is another one. Riboflavin, vitamin B2. Right? The syrup which I was talking about, it contains all this entire series. Fine. So this is also that's important in amino acid and carbohydrate metabolism. Right? B1 is only about carbohydrate. This is about amino acids and carbohydrates both. And it's important in embryo development as well. Right? So those are the functions of vitamin B2. Right. These are the symptoms, deficiency signs of lack of vitamin B2. And that affects on the eye health also, eye abnormalities. We can take vitamin B2 from these sources. Right. Lack of ATP. හරි එතකොට කොහොමද දැන් ATP supply එක වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැතුව ඉතිවලා ඒක ඕකම කරලා අපි හැරෙනවා ඒක. එතකොට ATP කදිස්සෙට කියන්නේ අපි කෑවේ හරි මොකක් හරි උන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද ඒ what is the science chemistry behind that? Then obviously for sleepiness the very first reason is only the reason is lack of ATP. ඊට පස්සේ වතුර බීලා වතුර දාලා ආය අපු normal senses වලට එනවා. ඒ එන්න නම් ATP ඕනනේ. right? ATP නැතුව වැඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Where did that ATP come from? අපි කෑවේ නෑ මොකද weight pull ගියුවේ නෑ. හරිද? wings ආවේ නෑ. ඒත් හැරුණා. What is the chemistry behind that? How did it happen? In the go energy. දැන් අපි energy එක ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. What? Adrenaline, right? Adrenaline. So that is a hormonal activity. දැන් අපි කොහොමද දැන් වතුර ගාල්නේ අපි අර වැඩිපුර nerves තියෙන heat sensor එකක. එතකොට අපි මේ body එක ready කරවන්නේ emergency state එකකට. හරි එකපාර flight එක ගොඩ බානවා වගේ emergency state එක relax කරන්න. emergency state කියනවා නිකන් කරන්න බෑ ඒකට ගොඩක් energy ඕනේ. ATP ඔය තියෙන supply එකකින් වැඩේ කරන්න බෑ එකපාරට එක්කන්ට බෝම්බ එක පුරන ඩිංග මාර වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි එතකොට අර තියෙන existing energy supply එක ඕක උඩ දාන්න බෑ. So we need a lot of energy. අන්න එතකොට so we need so that's then what is happening that is handled by the hormone adrenaline. That is emergency state. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් adrenaline ගන්න අපි දැන් අර තරහා ගියාට පස්සේ එන එහෙම විදිහට ඒ තරහා යනවා කියන්නේ emergency එකක්. right? ඒ කාට හරි උඩ ඇටැක් කරන්න ඕනේ. මේක පස්සේ ගහලා හරියන්නේ ඒක ගන්න දෙපැයි. right? ඒක ඒ විලාවේ energy කොට. right? chemical energy supply adrenaline. So ඒ අපි emergency state එකට තමයි එතන ලෑස්ති කරන්නේ body එක. That's how we all of a sudden we get energy. ඊට පස්සේ ටිකකින් ඔන්න ආයෙ පොඩ්ඩකින් ආයෙ නිදිමතයි. ඒ දැන් adrenaline level එක ආයෙ blood වල normal වීගෙන යනවා. So adrenaline is a hormone which is secreted to the blood. So in the blood only the adrenaline level increases. Right. Now then the brain realizes that this is a false alarm, nothing is happening around. Right. Now the adrenaline level goes down, then it comes to the normal level. Again, we are under the normal supply of AD. Special condition man. Hospital like ICU, the normal mode at the body. Right. Then what is happening? Again, at the normal AD level, after some time, the AD is no. That's how it is happening. Right. So for everything, there's a reason. Right. Anyway, these are the sources. These are the stuff that we can get vitamin B2 from. Right. Inositol. This is another compound. This, of course, you might not that familiar with the term inositol. Anyone to think of. Right. Basically, this is a sugar-made product. Right? The body, and we find it in food. Right. And structure-wise, chemical-wise, there are 9 forms of that. We don't have to go to up to that extent. There are 9 forms of that. There are, we have bioinositol and fluoro, BNL, I think you remember, isn't it? So that's hydrocarbon, asymmetric carbon with 4 different groups around, and plain polarized slightly related to clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction. That so likewise, so D-chloroinositol, right? These are the common supplements. Basically, there are 9 forms, 9 natural forms. When we are short of that, this is a sugar made product anyway. In supplements, these are the ones which are there. Right. Well, about the situation, panic disorder. We all panic, right? Panic disorder, I short in, let's say, all of a sudden something happens. Then for a short period of time, we don't know what to do. Isn't it so? From person to person, that duration changes. All of a sudden, like let's say, a snake comes all of a sudden, like some will scream, some will remember to open the door and go out. So there is a duration that we panic like hell, isn't it? So that duration, everybody panics. That duration changes from person to person. Some people don't panic at all. Like okay, they are okay, snake is coming, like okay, looking at like that. In this having the answer, හරි ඊට පස්සේ අර අහස ගණන් ගන්නවා කියලා කවුරු හරි කිව්වහම ඒක පස්සේ දුන්නා අර ගිය සතිය අර තෙල් පොලින් වල ගැටි හිටි කිරුයි දෙන්නයි බලලා ඔව් පෙට්‍රල් නැහැ කියලා අන්නේ ටිකෙන් තමයි ටික ගන්නවා කියනවා මේ අනිත් එක ගියා ආදිතින් තෙල් ටිකක් ගන්න ඇයිද කියලා නෑ මම දන්නේ නැහැ අපි යනවා දැක්කම මාත් තෙල් ටිකක් ගන්න කියලා අන්නේ හරි I must be. So then this is not about that type of people. The people respond to certain stuff, stimulus, right? So then there's a processing time for us to come to the normal level, normal senses, right? Some all of a sudden, like from the behind this curtain, like we see a snake coming, right? And we see, okay, so according to the appearance, we recognize just at a glance, this is not a guarantee, yeah, it's a proper snake. That also we recognize. Then obviously, like we are in danger, right? Then what action should be taken? Like so, for a moment, that moment maybe few seconds or a minute or maybe 2 minutes like that, that changes from person to person. We panic. That means we are not sure what are we going, what actions should be taken. And if you know, sure, right? Full excited and panic. Right. එතකොට panic disorder means අපි දන්නවා like in our day-to-day life experiences. People panic up to different extents. එක ගන්න නෙවෙයි හැමෝම panic වෙන්නේ. නේද? ඒක අපි දන්නවනේ. අහරු right. Up to different extents. Right. So panic disorder means now when it comes to certain, like beyond certain level, that is a health issue. Panic disorder is a health issue. They panic up to very high extent. For a considerable long time, they can't figure out what should be the next action and stuff. That is panic disorder. All right. So this inositol balances the internal chemical environment of the body, and so that is actually this panic attacks actually. Then this is then continue to the depression levels, right? So mental health, mental conditions, depression, Right. So that is the problem. All right. So inositol is a particular um, deficiency related to this situation about panic attacks, panic disorder. On the other hand, we know the diabetes, insulin, right? That health issue, right? So inositol, it is related to heavily about the insulin. Basically, insulin will work better in the presence of inositol. Right. Then you have to have the understanding that okay, this is related to the blood sugar level as well. Right? Taking up in insulin, up in money. Then as an injection, we are giving insulin. But the thing is, for insulin to work better, inositol also has to be there. Right? Right. So that is the range that we are supposed to learn about the means. Understood? Any question? Don't bet we are not done for today. We have time to go to the minerals. We won't have time to finish it all, but we can start it. It's in the pen drive. Yeah. We have to. All right. Minerals. Vitamins and minerals go together. Right. Remember, just before now we talked about vitamins are organic compounds which we are supposed to take from outside. Organic compounds, carbon containing compounds. Minerals are inorganic compounds, not related to carbon. Inorganic compounds which are supposed to be taken from outside. All right. Now, where do we get these minerals from? Right. Basically, when it comes to the earth crust, 46% is oxygen, silicon 29%. The remainder is going to be 25%, which comprises with aluminium, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Now let's see from those elements, how are we going to manage our health situation? Well, at the first place, mineral. This is obviously naturally occurring. Okay, naturally occurring. Every single mineral which our body requires, right? True that we can take them as supplements, that is true. But they're naturally occurring. That's available in food. Well, and it has a definite chemical composition. Basically, it has a definite chemical formula. That is like I said, it is inorganic, not a carbon containing one. They have ionic compounds, so they have a crystalline structure, right? Properties wise, they have a definite set of chemical properties, a definite set of physical properties as well. So these are compounds, inorganic compounds. Right. So from all those minerals, when it comes to human body, there are 22 minerals which we use. Some minerals we need in higher amounts. We call them major minerals. ඒවා තමයි අපි ලොකුට දන්න ජාති. මොනවාද? Calcium. අර කයිනේ calcium, phosphorus, chloride, potassium, sodium, sulfur. We are familiar with those stuff when it comes to health. Those are the major ones. Some elements, some minerals, we require them, so that we need them, but not in huge amounts, in small amounts, small quantities. Those are iron, zinc, iodine. Iodine, I don't know, give a mother idea. Iodine, right? Selenium, we talked about selenium today also, about vitamin, when it comes to vitamin functions. Copper, manganese, fluoride. Fluoride was probably a hundred, toothpaste, right? Chromium, molybdenum, arsenic, nickel, silicon, boron, cobalt. Right. So, according to up to what extent we require that to our body, those two categories are there. Major ones and trace ones. Right. We'll come to sodium. Sodium. Basically, I should tell you this, like, this is not about sodium metal. Right? This is not about sodium metal. It's about sodium plus 1 ion. Sodium metal and sodium plus 1 ion are two different things. Sodium metal is this. Sodium plus 1. Right. Metal is not a mineral. Metal ion is a mineral. So this is what we need. Iron deficiency, iron also same story. Iron, right? So these ones also iron, no. So this chair, right? Iron. That is not the mineral. Iron 2 plus iron. Fe2 plus. So mineral that has a charge. Okay. Right. Well, we require sodium for fluid balance in the body, especially nerve signals transmitters, muscle movements, contraction and relaxation of muscles. Right. We need sodium. Muscles. So when we talk about muscle contractions and stuff, I hope you can remember the issue related to cramps. Right. Then everyone knows that we are giving sodium chloride, like salt solution. Right. That is because of lack of sodium. Right. We give salt solution. Right. That is because muscle contraction, muscle relaxation, that is handled by sodium. We need sodium for that. Right. Minerals. Is it good to have minerals in excess? That is also a questionable point. Minerals also, we can't have that in excess. Then it leads to certain situations. Right. If we take too much of sodium, these are the health issues that is happening. High blood pressure, right? So the pressure increases. You might have heard about that health issue. High pressure, the people also having high pressure, right? We know that they are consuming less salt in the food. That's doing that, right? That is because a higher amount of sodium leads to the health issue, high blood pressure, right? Then that has to be that balanced. Right. So it is not good to have high amount of sodium. It has to be balanced. And also the fluids also are getting trapped. That problem also is there. Mostly ankles and feet. Right. The requirement. Our sodium requirement per day. This is sodium requirement. Per day, we need 500 milligrams. That is the requirement. Right, 500 milligrams. The maximum up to what extent we can go up? 1,500, 2,400, that level, maximum, not more than that. Now, why? Like our requirement is 500. Does it make any sense? So I'm talking about 1,500, 2,200, right? Sodium requirement is 500 milligrams. When we are sweating, right, we know as sweat, low sweat sodium chloride is minimum. Dari luar ini sodium chloride. Right. So sodium chloride is moving out of the body because we are sweating all the time, right? So that now at your faces, our faces, we don't see any sweat because sweating at a very slow rate, which gets easily evaporates. But if we just walk like around 5 minutes outside the road, we are sweating, right? With sweat, sodium chloride also goes. Then to compensate that, we have to have additional sodium chloride intake. Then it is like because of that, it is recommended this range 1,500 to 2,400 milligrams a day. That is our sodium requirement. Right. Sodium. These are the sources. %. We have by cooking. 6%. We have by leading. By leading? Oh. Like that one, I can okay, let me. Amber, I know how to. Abilunu. We know that right. By lady. 12% from natural sources and from processed food, prepared food, right? From those also we are getting. Anyway, when it comes to sodium, it's very rare to see that we are getting excess of sodium. Normally, the sodium amount that we are taking is enough. not excess. Right. When it comes to food, these are the sodium related food items. You are familiar with this MSG, right? Monosodium glutamate. It shows a low MSG. Are you right? So that is there. Baking soda, sodium is there. Baking powder, sodium is there. Disodium phosphate, we have sodium. Sodium alginate, sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite. These are the sodium containing compounds in food. Right. Anyway, if you are getting too much of sodium, these are the steps that we can take to reduce sodium in our food. Eat more fresh food, eat less processed food. If you look at the chart again, the diagram that we're talking about here, you see we are getting 77% of sodium from processed food and prepared food. Then if we are in a higher level of sodium, we can reduce processed food intake. And we can add less salt to our food. Right? So these are the actions that we can take to reduce sodium intake if we are in a high intake of sodium. That means when necessary. Okay, sodium deficiency. That's a previous slide you were talking about. Okay, how to reduce sodium diet? No, sodium is in our diet. Right? In case if we are in deficiency of sodium, these are the symptoms: nausea, vomiting, headache, lack of energy, drowsiness, right? Restless situation, right? We feel there's a feeling that we get muscle weakness, cramps, right? These are the sodium deficiencies. Like muscle weakness, cramps, actually, like every one of us, like we have that experience. So, clear? Yes, that's sodium deficiency. Right. Calcium. When we say calcium, obviously you remember one important thing, which is bones, right? Bone health, right? Bone health, calcium is required. Well, our daily requirement is 1,000 milligrams. We need calcium, 1,000 milligrams to maintain the bone health. Right. From food, these are the amounts of the calcium that we get. We get a high amount of calcium from yogurt. Now, what is the meaning of this? Do you get this point? From low fat, like plain yogurt and flavored yogurt. From plain yogurt, we get 415 milligrams But from a flavored yogurt, we get 345 milligram. Both are low fat. So why different amounts? Flavored. What do you think? Well, to add the flavor, definitely we have to add some powder, right? So in the though we add certain stuff, you know what happens is like the weight of the yogurt cup doesn't change, no, right? We have the same the mass wise, the gram size, it has the same amount. It can't change. So when we add something, definitely something should be removed. Otherwise, like according to the amount of the stuff that we add, finally yogurt cup will be heavy. No, it has to be the same size, right? That's why there's a lesser amount. Well, when we are lack of calcium, calcium deficiency, when we have a deficiency of calcium, we have certain health issues, certain symptoms, right? Uh, right. It's all related to bone health, right? But in addition to bone health, we have some other deficiencies as well, right? Memory loss, depression, hallucination. So those things are so related to mental health as well, right? Muscle cramps, those stuff, yeah. In addition to sodium, calcium also is related to muscle cramps, right? And calcium, brittle nails, right? Nails are becoming weaker when calcium is deficient. Right. That's about calcium. All right. Then from iron onwards, we'll talk about in our next class. Right? About the assignment, I'll be updating in the group. Okay.